This is Scott Dietz. I'm here in Quarriesville, Pennsylvania, and we're here at an Airbnb. We're actually shooting our first Meet the Model series, and I'm here with
Destiny.
So this is our very first time either of us have done this, so hopefully there's not a whole lot of cuts throughout this as we both are new to this experience, but we've got a gorgeous set here today. We've got a roaring fireplace behind us, which I'm not even sure if you can see it in the camera, but it's keeping us nice and toasty and warm. Of course, you may be seeing this sometime in January, and we've got a Christmas tree here. So, but it does at least set the mood as we are 3 days away from Christmas, something like that. So, very excited about talking to Destiny though, and just having an informal chat about her experience as a model, and hopefully you'll learn some great tips from her, and we'll have a great discussion and just kind of keep this informal. So why don't we just start off with the basics?
Okay, I'm ready.
How did you get into modeling? Like, how long have you been doing it, and how did you get into it?
Okay, so I started in 2022, right before I turned 19, and I got into it because I was using hashtags on my main Instagram, which is no longer an Instagram, and a photographer seen me under one of the hashtags and told me to make a new Instagram, and ever since then it's been like constant people reaching out, booking, like everything, just steady all the time. But yeah, that's how I got into it. I guess I got like scouted on Instagram a little bit.
We'll come back to Instagram in a minute, but so it was really kind of a fluke thing. It wasn't like, you grew up and you were like, oh, I'm going to be a model someday, or you wanted to be a model, or you had aspirations to pursue that. It was kind of a just happenstance thing, or? So
I actually was in modeling and acting school when I got scouted, but I was paying a lot of money every week, and I was not learning anything because it was like still during COVID, and like once I did the first photo shoot, I'm like, I don't need school. Like, if I'm already doing stuff in person and getting pictures back, like, why am I going to pay all this money for schooling that I don't really need? So I kind of did like want to do it for a really long time, and then it wasn't until a certain person reached out and then just took off from there pretty quick. But yeah.
And you mostly do fashion.
Yeah.
Fashion. How would you describe your modeling? Like the type of modeling you like to do, the type of shoot you tend to do. I know you've done some runway stuff too.
Yeah. So top 3 would be fashion, editorial, which is like high fashion, and then glamour, and then I'll do some runway a little bit. I just got into that, so.
Well, you're tall, so that helps, maybe on the runway.
I'm not that tall. I'm only 5'6", but I look like
got big heels
I'm
on.
5'8", even without them on. My legs come up to like here, so I just look crazy tall, but I'm only 5'6".
And fashionable, as
thank
you can see.
Yes.
And we'll talk more about fashion later and how the photographers can help with that maybe a little bit. But
yeah.
So was the experience kind of what you thought it would be when you first started getting into it, and then what were some of those early shoots like compared to like later on? Like, did you get more comfortable doing it? And
I thought I was getting scammed at first. I thought you had to pay photographers a lot of money to get photo shoots done and all this and that, but it's like some you don't have to pay anything, some you can just pay a little bit. Like, I thought you had to pay a lot of money to be a model. That's why I never really tried getting into it, because I never grew up with money. So like, my first photo shoot was TFP, like a collab, and I was like, okay, how much do I owe you for the pictures? And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, what do you mean? What do I mean? Like, he's like, it's a collab. And I was like, wait, this is like a real thing. It's not just it's not just like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to describe it. I was so shocked, but it was really exciting, really, really exciting. I love it. So
for the models that might be watching this that are new to the industry or thinking about becoming a model, you mentioned TFP.
Yes.
What's TFP stand for, and how does that work?
So TFP stands for Trade for Photos. So it's like you and a photographer agree to do a certain photo shoot, whatever you guys agree on, and sometimes it involves you signing a contract like, I'm not paying you, you're not paying me, you guys agree, or sometimes there's not a contract, depending on if you get a pretty cool photographer. And yeah, and then you do the shoot, and then you get your pictures back, and as long as you tag them, that's it. And most of the time they'll reach back out to you to do more if they like you. So
the history of that is actually trade for prints.
Trade for prints.
Because it used to be, like everybody, before the days of online, for us old folks, You know, prints was what everybody wanted because you were building a portfolio book, and
Yeah.
you would have an actual physical book, and maybe
Yep.
that's still a thing.
I
We can talk
started
about
one,
that.
yeah, but then nobody uses it.
Yeah,
They use
so now it's
Instagram.
Instagram,
Yeah.
and other portfolio sites, your own personal websites. So, you know, it moved to trade for photos.
Yes.
You know, so, or trade, just TF, trade for, you know.
Yeah.
So it's basically bartering, right? So
Pretty
you're
much.
just basically, your modeling services, your time and your efforts, me as a photographer, my time, my efforts.
Right.
And do a lot of models have to start there, or do you recommend they start there as far as like starting with trade shoots?
It really just depends. If you, I mean, it depends on what modeling you want. Like if you want to be like working with big brands and stuff, you're gonna have to pay money for really good digitals and like, I mean, there's a lot of good photographers out there that don't make you pay anything. But I mean, like if you want like New York, for instance, you're gonna be paying money. You're gonna pay money. Like it doesn't matter. I mean, I kind of got lucky with that, which I guess we'll get into later. But like, it really just depends. I mean, I feel like if you start, you know, with collabing or like however you do it, you can work your way up to maybe where you don't have to pay people. But I don't know. I mean,
So what's the transition point, or maybe what was the transition point for you of going from trade to, did you ever have to pay any photographers for
we'll
portfolio
get
work?
into that when we get to
Okay.
New York.
And then eventually, you know, there's either brands or photographers will pay you.
Yeah.
So what was that transition point for you, and how early on did you start getting paid for either photographers that wanted to work with you and for your time? And
I got really lucky. I never even thought about making money off of it ever. Like I really just like doing it for fun, and I never intended on making any kind of money off of it. And it was when I first started modeling, I did 5 shoots in 1 week, and it was my 5th shoot where I made it on the cover of Maleve magazine. And the guy called me, texted me, and he was like, the photographer, he said, "Can you call me?" And I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" And he's like, "You can start charging, like right away." He's like, "Just start charging." And I'm like, "No, like I feel bad. I don't want to take anybody's money. Like I feel bad." He's like, "No, start charging." And ever since then, I mean, pretty much it's always been like that, I guess. But I don't always, you know, it all just depends. Like if somebody is like, "I'm sorry, like I can't afford to shoot with you right now," don't pay me. Like I'm still gonna do it. Like I'm not doing it for money. I do it because I like doing it. Like, but yeah, my transition point was, you have to be consistent with it. You have to post a lot. I'm sure you know that too. Like you have to post a lot before you really start being able to make money. You can't just do one photo shoot and be like, "Okay, pay me." Like it does not work like that. It does not work like that.
And then from the photographer side anyway, you know, if I'm going to pay a model, then
Yeah.
they better be bringing a few things to the table. One
Yeah.
is work ethic,
Yeah.
good attitude, posing experience and knowing how to pose.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm paying a model, I kind of expect that I'm not going to have to coach them through every single pose they're going to do.
Yeah.
You know, so I think as you get better at your craft on both sides,
Yeah.
that's where money comes into play. And also there's I don't want to say a worthiness of getting paid, but also
Yeah.
like you become a professional at what you're doing.
Exactly. It's like starting to become like a career almost. Yeah. Definitely.
So
I like that question.
let me dig into that a little bit more, because one of the biggest challenges I think new models have is posing.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of like, what do I do with my hands? You know, or like, how should I stand? Or,
Yeah.
okay, I ran out of the 2 poses I knew. Now what do I do?
Yeah.
So how did you get, especially early on, and then as you've progressed, how have you gotten better at posing, or do you feel you're better at posing? Maybe not.
I've never been told I'm a bad poser, but I know
Okay.
I need some work in some instances. I feel like a lot of girls don't know how to pose because they just don't have a lot of confidence, and I feel like you have to have that if you're doing a photo shoot, because if not, then you're gonna be like, "What do? I don't know what to do." I'm like, just do it. Like, who cares? Because if it looks stupid, then just don't post it. Like, you're gonna have 300 other pictures to look through, and you're gonna look good in them if you just relax. And I think that's what I became better with at posing, because I just like act like it's a normal day. Like, I don't act like there's cameras in front of me most of the time. But I don't know, I just have confidence with most shoots as long as I'm comfortable. Yeah.
So a few things I've always recommended to models, and you can let me know if you've did these at all. One is practice in the mirror.
Yes. Yes.
And I think a lot of times, even during photo shoots, I see somebody like, if they're posing over here, there's a mirror over there. They're, cheating with the mirror,
Yes.
or a flat screen TV or something like that.
Yes.
But I think that like sometimes you think how you're moving looks good, but you just don't have any instant feedback. So one of the best ways to do that was a mirror.
Yeah. Yes. Mirrors have helped me a lot. A lot.
And I think the second thing I always recommend is there's a lot of great videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
Including many more coming from me, by the way. So subscribe. Little plug.
Yeah. Right.
But there's a ton of great videos. I actually have a playlist even on YouTube that I can send to any models that are interested.
Yeah.
Of kind of a curated list of like other models giving tips on posing.
Yeah.
And just seeing how others do it. And then I think the third thing, in my opinion, is just like looking at a lot of other models' work. So
Yes.
look at magazines, but look at it through the vision and the eye of how are they posing, in Vogue or in this ad for, clothing or for,
That's
anything,
probably
really,
what helped
right?
me the most, honestly. I didn't even think about that. I stalk girls. That's what you have to do. If you're doing modeling, you have to stalk some girls and be like, what are they doing to get recognized? And that's what you do, and it works. It works. Believe me.
And there's
Be a
obviously,
stalker.
and obviously when it comes to posing, it depends on what you're modeling,
Yeah.
and the type of vibe you're going for, and the type
Yes.
of theme you're going for, the type of location.
Yep. Pinterest helps a lot.
The collaboration between the photographer, what they're trying to get out, like what their vision is for it, because you're
Yeah.
trying to help them. You're kind of trying to align visions in a lot of times, right?
Pinterest helps a lot too. A lot. But yeah.
So we'll probably use this as a pause point when I go to edit, because I have to cheat and look at the questions now. So we talked a little bit about how you got started. So do you have any idea how many photo shoots you've done so far?
And I say 2 years, but I took a break for a while, so a year and a half, probably like in between 65 and 70.
Okay.
With probably like 35 photographers, maybe more than that. Yeah, a good bit.
And we're shooting again today, so
Yes.
we'll be posting some of the shots from maybe throughout this video. I'll share some of the photos that we created here in this lovely space.
Yes. So pretty.
But I think this is our fourth or fifth shoot together?
Something like that. A good bit.
And I believe we just connected on Instagram, if I remember
think so.
correctly.
I think so, yeah.
It's hard to remember back that far.
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
But as far as like Instagram, any tips from your perspective as far as how to use Instagram effectively for a modeling portfolio or to connect with people? Do you, I don't know about your Instagram. I know you're very picky on what you put on your Instagram as far as like you really curate your work on there. So it's not really necessarily a blend between your personal life and your personal photos and your modeling portfolio, right?
Strictly modeling. This really helped me. I found a girl that was kind of in the same area as me, and I looked at who she was working with, and once you start following them, they'll start reaching out to you. It's like when I say be a stalker, like you really have to be a stalker if you're just starting modeling, because
We call it networking.
Sorry, networking. Or stalking, either one. I guess networking is more appropriate.
What's the official stalking?
Good stalking, not bad stalking, yeah. Not bad. But and then just start following. Like look up, if you're in Maryland, look up Maryland photographers, Pennsylvania, look up PA photographers, start following them, and then, if it says TFP or collab, reach out, and because you have to start somewhere, you know what I mean? I guess some personal photos of you, like non-photo shoots, would help, so they know what you do look like before reaching out, but I mean, yeah.
Do you reach out to photographers, or do you wait for them to contact you?
Both.
Okay.
Both. I've reached out to a couple.
Especially probably if you're going to be in
An area. Yeah.
Maryland, you're going to be in New York, and you're
Yep.
trying to book out your schedule, you're probably going to do some outreach. Right?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Yes.
Let's do the flip side of that real quick. What are any warnings you would give to models about Instagram use, or about when photographers contact you, or you're trying to get a feel and just whether or not you should reach out to them? Any tips you would give to folks on that side, like on the flip side of that?
Don't ever use your full name, because there are some, not maybe many. There are some like actual stalkers out there. I had one myself when I first started. Very bad situation, very bad. Don't ever use a real name. Make sure that you looked at their tagged. Like, make sure that they're getting tagged in work, because anyone can put pictures up and it might not even be theirs. And then you could show up and they could be really weird, or maybe not who they say they are. So that, and always reach out to like other models and photographers. I'm sure they do that too sometimes. Just to verify, like, okay, they're okay to work with, you know what I mean? Because Instagram can be scary. I've learned that through modeling. Very scary, so.
Yeah, it's a shame you have to live in a world like that, but you have to be careful.
Yeah,
And
especially in modeling. Oh
yeah.
my gosh, yeah.
And I think that's some great tips as far as like referrals and checking references, and you know, what are they like? What are they like working with? You know, how's it like shooting with them? Any red flags? You know, those kind of things. But
Right.
sometimes too, it's just good to know, like, you know, I think this is a tip in general. You know, in a lot of cities, especially like where I'm from in Pittsburgh, it's a pretty small group of photographers and models that are there. It's not New York City, you know, where there's thousands and thousands of them. So word travels fast, you know. So that's like one of the tips I always give to new models as well is don't burn bridges. Like, show up on time, you know, work hard during the shoot, have fun, but still work hard, be professional, communicate on a regular basis. Yeah, you know, if you're providing wardrobe, for example, like, don't pull it out of the back seat all wrinkled up, you know, kind of things. Because, you know, when another photographer reaches out to me then and says, hey, what's it like to work with Destiny? And I'm going to be like,
oh, she forgot her shirt that one time.
Only once.
Oh, just one time.
But no, I always say good things. And it doesn't happen a lot that other photographers will reach out. But it does happen on occasion. Yeah. And we talk, right? So it's like, hey, what was it like working with her? Or, hey, don't work with so-and-so because, you know, didn't show up on time. They were complaining the whole time. It was, you know.
Have you ever had that, by the way? Anyone, like, complain during a shoot?
I did. I had one shoot where it was, I basically ended it early. Really? Because we were inside and the model was like, I'm cold, I'm hot, I'm hungry, I'm uncomfortable. And I'm like, okay, first of all, it's not that cold in here. Yeah. And then secondly, like, just get through it. Like whining constantly about it just ruined the whole vibe of the entire shoot. She ain't ready
for New York then.
Right.
Sorry, I don't know who he's talking about, but.
Well, have you ever seen, like, I flash back to like America's Next Top Model. Right. And they'd have them like outside in the cold, getting drenched in water.
Hanging from 1,000 feet in the air.
In a pile of garbage or something ridiculous, right? And I'm like, I'm not doing anything remotely like that in this scenario.
Yours are pretty laid back. Thanks. Like, I'm always comfortable whenever I'm with Scott. I'm comfortable, like, very laid back. I'm being serious. I'm not just saying that because the cameras are on. I'm being serious.
Yeah, so that was like the only time I can think of where, you know, it just, the attitude that she was portraying during the shoot just could have put a damper on the entire shoot. Like it wasn't fun. Yeah. Like, I do this for fun. Yeah. Like, this, in most cases, I'm not getting paid to do this. Right. This is a hobby for me. This is a creative outlet for me. Yeah. So I want to have fun when I'm doing it. Like, if it's torture, especially in that scenario, I'm like, what are we doing here? Yeah. Like, we're wasting each other's time. Yeah. We're not getting good results either. The outcomes aren't going to be good because, again, we're just not clicking. And so that's the only time I can think of that I ended a shoot early. Yeah. But that happens sometimes. Sometimes you just, you know, things in life are happening, or at the same time, like, some people just don't gel, just don't connect, you know, and that, a lot of times it just means they won't shoot with them a second time, you know, which is totally fine too. Right. And then there's other people like us, we've shot together like 5 times. Yeah, a lot. Another model I worked with, I've shot with like 10 times. So, you know, if you find someone good that you enjoy working with, then, you know, it gets it's a lot more fun. And I think that, especially even after the first shoot, you end up getting better and better results because you know each other. Yeah. Is there anything that makes you say yes to a photographer when they reach out to you? Is there anything that really stands out? Is it their work? Is it their approach and their messaging? What's the thing that makes you go, yeah, I want to work with this person? Is it the number of followers they have? Is it the influence?
I don't really care about followers, to be honest, because there's like some people, like, I don't have that many followers. Not saying my work's great, but like there's some people that have like 400 followers and their work is like so good, but I look at their work 100% all the time. I'm like, okay. And even if like I don't like too much what I see, if there's like one picture that I love, I'm like, yes, I'll shoot with you. Because I mean, it's all about, everyone has different, like every model has different ideas of what they want to do. So it's like you can't always look at the work, because sometimes it's not the photographer making it. It could be both, or maybe just the model, or maybe, you know what I mean? Like it has to be what you're looking to model for. So it's like, if it's something I'll shoot, or like I said, if they have even one thing on their page that I would do, usually I'll say yes, most of the time.
And imagine that at that point too, you're in that early communication with the photographer, you're setting clear boundaries.
Oh yeah.
And you're setting clear expectations, not to mention just the details of when and where and what are we shooting, who's providing wardrobe and all that kind of stuff.
Right. I feel like I'm pretty good at that. Like I put it right out there, what I will and won't do. I feel like I'm pretty, you think so?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've had to have that conversation.
Yeah.
Maybe in our first shoot we had to have that conversation, but
probably.
Beyond that I pretty much know, what you're comfortable with. And I think that's really the key though, is that even, things change on both sides.
Yeah.
But also, it's always good to just ask and follow up. Or if you shoot a lot, it's easy to forget.
Yeah.
I forget, like, are you okay with this or not okay with this? Or what do you think about this?
Yeah.
Or, I know personally, I like to collaborate as much as possible on shoots. So I'm sure we'll do it here in a few minutes where I'm literally always asking, like, hey, where do you think we should shoot this? Or where do you think this outfit would look best in this location we're at? Or any other ideas you have?
Yeah, you are pretty good with that
kind of thing.
I will say, yeah.
Do you find a lot of photographers do that, or am I rare in that sense? Just curious.
You're pretty rare. Look, usually, you're pretty rare. Usually I'm like being told what to do all the time, which I really don't mind either. Like I don't really care either way, but.
Imagine, especially on a commercial shoot, where you've got limited time, the studio's costing a lot of money.
Yeah.
There's maybe the fashion designer or the business owner is kind of there on set watching. Like, you're looking to get the work done.
Yeah.
But also have fun, of course, and there's an energy that's important.
Right.
But it's probably a little bit of a different vibe. And I'm sure you've worked with photographers too that, like me, who I shoot a lot of photos.
Yeah.
And then there's others that are like, I'm going to take one perfect shot.
Yeah.
So I need every finger to be exactly placed perfectly. And
yep.
I don't know if you've worked with photographers that are on one extreme or another.
Yes, all of them. I probably worked with every different kind of photographer you could think of, which isn't bad, but
how would you describe an ideal slash fun shoot? Like what's to you a shoot that's an actual blast?
I feel like when both the photographer and model are pretty open, like you both can share ideas of what you want to do and like different posing, different outfits and everything. I feel like that's always good. Like I feel like unless you're like doing like a job for like a really big brand, anything else besides that, I really don't see the point of being so strict, because then it takes the fun away. I feel like I've had that happen to me so many times where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to leave. Like this is not fun for me at all. And I mean, just being open.
What's the most epic shoot you've ever done? And don't feel like you have to mention one of ours, because I don't know if my work has quite been epic, but what's the most epic, like wild, crazy, most awesome shoot you ever had? And maybe it wasn't that wild and crazy, but it was just the results or the fashion that was involved or the location or something that made it really stand out.
So the horse photo shoot I did in Lancaster County with Carlos, that was just really cool because it's home of the Amish, and we really wanted to use horses, but both mine died, so I'm like, that's out. But we walked up to this Amish guy's house and knocked on his door, like complete strangers. I'm wearing shorts and like stripper boots, and I'm like, oh god, like this ain't gonna work. They're gonna be like, who's this? But no, he walked up and knocked on the door, and they're like, hey, like, can we use your stable to like take pictures? And he's like, you can't go up to the horses, but you can use a pasture, and if they come up to you, go for it. I put that stool down in the middle of this field pasture thing, and these giant, I'm talking like 8-foot horses, wish I was joking, just come not hurting at me, but like doing a little jog towards me while I'm sitting on the stool, and I'm like, I have to get a good picture, so I can't move. But they were huge, and like the pictures, I mean, you might have seen them. That's how I get a lot of agency, like realization, is those pictures right there. But it was really scary. I'm like, you have 10-foot animals coming directly at you and you can't move. Like, that was really cool. And yeah, definitely that one was really fun.
So what tips would you give to a photographer that's reaching out to a model, or just about how to effectively do a photo shoot with a model? What tips would you give to the photographers that might be watching this right now?
This is a hard question.
I'll get you started. Don't be weird.
Yeah, okay, that. Always, I like what you mentioned earlier, always ask about boundaries. That's a really good thing to start with. I mean, some you may be able to tell on their Instagram, but I don't know. This is a hard question. This is a really hard question. I don't know.
Let's do the other side of it then.
I was gonna ask
the
you,
models. Oh, you were gonna ask me?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
gonna ask you.
Tips I would give photographers: don't be weird. Also, don't be weird. Have a clear vision for what you're trying to create.
Yeah.
I think I'm probably going to do another video at some point here around how to maximize a location and how to pick locations. I think that's important.
Oh yeah.
You know, sometimes I like flexibility in a location.
Yeah.
So the opportunity to, like, you know, I was just in Miami shooting, and we had a beach, we had a swing set, we had a picnic area, we had, you know, a parking lot area. There was, in one space within a 5-minute walk in any direction, we had a bunch of different options.
Yeah.
So that's another tip I give. And I think the last thing is just over communicate. Like, it can't hurt to clarify the details, follow up as you're a couple weeks out, follow up again as you're a few days out.
Right.
I think that communication is really important.
Yeah.
And then have fun.
Yeah, that too.
Because again, I think the energy you set on the set, or that you have during the shoot, is important.
It matters. It really does.
Yeah. Any particular funny experiences other than horses that you've had in shoots, or is that the craziest / funniest?
No, the funniest one, I did a brand deal with a tanning company called Warmth Bar Tan. They're in Annapolis, Maryland. Shameless plug, they're really good. And it was also like a bikini collab for Sweet Demon too. That was really fun, but I didn't rinse off my spray tan like I was supposed to. It was a 2-day event. You got your spray tan, everything done day 1, and then you come back day 2, and that's shoot day all day. And I didn't rinse off my spray tan because I wanted to be really tan. I didn't know we were getting in water. So we go, they rent out this whole hotel, and they're like, okay, you guys are gonna do some pictures and videos in the water. And I'm like, if I get in this water, my whole tan is coming off. So then I had to be like, hey, by the way, I didn't listen to what you told me to do. Not a good idea, by the way. And I didn't, like, it's gonna come off. And they were mad. Don't ever do that. Like, it was kind of funny though. Like, we laughed about it, but my whole tan did come off in that pool, and my face did not match my body because my hair was done and my makeup was done. So I could go under up to here. And I'm like, it just did not look good. Took a lot of editing to fix them.
I'm just picturing like the water like changing colors as you got into it. You know, I'm
sure
it didn't happen that way, but it was just seeing like, you know, a ring of tanning. You know,
you can see it in the water. You can see it in the water.
Which would be really hard to edit too. So I'm sure they can see why they were upset.
Maybe that's why they didn't reach back out to me. Probably.
God, so what are your future plans for modeling, if any?
I don't know if I have any right now. I have a contract on hold for me in New York right now till the end of 2024 because, you know, I'm traveling here in like 2 or 3 weeks for a while, and depending on how that all goes, I really don't know if I'll come back to it, but I don't know. Like, I'm still pretty young, so anything could happen between now and then. So I mean, I want to do more shows when I get back home. It'll be New York Fashion Week in September. I want to try and do that depending on where my head's at, and since I will still have that contract available to me, but I don't, this might be my last shoot. Like, I'm being serious. This might be my like last ever one. I don't know. As of right now it is, so.
Well, I think that's pretty common too, where you've got, I've worked with some models that maybe it's because of the quantity that they did, they kind of get burnt out from it.
Yeah.
Others, it's just for a short window or a period of their life or time that they end up, pursuing
Yeah.
that, and then they move on to other things, or start a family, or they
Yeah.
move, or they just lose interest in it. And then, of course, there's the long-termers, right? that
Yeah.
are, you look at like something like Cindy Crawford or something like that, and
that's what I want it to be like, and it's just like, I will cancel a photo shoot if I do not want to do pictures that day, because if I don't feel like I'm in the mood to do it, and it's gonna show. Like, it's going to show, and I just am getting to that. Not with you, but like if I had any other photo shoots after that, nope, not going. Like, I just don't really want to do it anymore at this point in time. Like,
sorry, folks.
Sorry, but
Still some good advice here, but
I say that, and then like Lady Gaga will come and I'm like, I want to do a show now.
Yeah.
But right now, I really don't know. I have no idea where I stand.
I'll still tag your Instagram down below
Yeah.
in the comments. So if folks want to follow, and in case you're back in the mode, then they'll be able to have your information. But
There we go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
anything else you want to add? I think we're kind of winding down our chat here. This is again our first meet the model in the series of videos. And anything else in particular you want to share before we sign off?
I think I'm good.
Well, thanks so much for having a chat with me.
Yes,
I know we were both kind of nervous to start
Yes.
this off because neither of us have really done this before.
Yeah, no, I have
But
not.
hopefully the results are good and that everybody's enjoying this chat. And at the same time, hopefully we end up doing a lot more of these. And so stay tuned for a lot more. And of course, make sure you give us a thumbs up and a like. Make sure you subscribe. We have a lot more content that I have in my head that I want to create. And again, thanks a lot, Dustin. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
Let's go have some fun. Let's go do some
Yes.
shooting. All right. See you guys.
Bye-bye.